He's just broken one of the great world records in the history, in the annals of track and field athletics, by over 2 seconds. Unbelievable.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen's journey from a prodigious talent to an Olympic champion has captivated the world. His relentless pursuit of excellence on the track has set new standards in middle distance running. At just 16 years old, he became the youngest person in history to run a sub-4-minute mile. By 20, he was an Olympic gold medalist. And by 24, he was breaking world records that had stood untouched for nearly 3 decades. But his journey isn't just a tale of natural talent. It's a story of precision, obsession, and unrelenting discipline. Shaped by fierce sibling rivalries and driven by a mindset years beyond his age. From dominating European championships as a teenager to challenging the all-time greats, Jakob has redefined what's possible in middle distance running. Every season he raises the bar, not just for himself but for the sport as a whole. Recent developments have cast a shadow over his achievements when he testified in a Norwegian court, accusing his father and former coach of physical abuse during his upbringing. This trial has brought to light the complex dynamics within the family, adding depth to a tale of resilience and determination. This is the story of Jakob Ingebrigtsen, a prodigy turned powerhouse, still evolving, still chasing greatness. Jakob Ingebrigtsen was born in the small town of Sandnes, Norway, in the year 2000. By the time he hit 12, he was already following a serious training plan, including lifting weights and running over 100 kilometers a week. At just 16 years old, Jakob was already making history. Competing in a Diamond League race in Eugene, Oregon, Jakob finished 11th. With a time of 3 minutes and 58.07 seconds, he had just become the youngest athlete ever to run a sub-4-minute mile. Just a few weeks later, at the Bislett Games in Oslo, he ran even faster, crossing the finish line in 3 minutes, 56.29 seconds to win the race.
Look at the clock, 3:56. That's great finish.
On July, he switched things up and took on the 3,000 meters steeplechase for the first time. Competing at the Golden Sporn meeting in Belgium, he not only won the race but also set a new European under-20 record with a time of 8 minutes 26.81 seconds. Jakob kept pushing boundaries, and at just 17 years old, he hit another milestone. On May 26th, at the Prefontaine Classic's Bowerman Mile, he ran an incredible 3 minutes 52.28 seconds, securing 4th place in a field packed with world-class talents. It was the fastest mile ever run by a 17-year-old at the time. At the 2018 European Athletics Championships, running the 1,500 meters alongside his brothers Henrik and Filip, he took the gold with a time of 3 minutes, 38.10 seconds, making him the youngest ever European champion in that event.
But Jakob Ingebrigtsen, this sensational 17-year-old talent, they're gaining on him. Can they get there in the end? Wow, Jakob Ingebrigtsen just wins it.
The very next day, he lined up for the 5,000 meters final. And once again, he came out on top, winning gold and pulling off an unprecedented double, becoming the first man ever to win both the 1,500 and 5,000 meters at the European Championships.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen coming through for a stunning and memorable double.
His 13:17.06 in the 5,000 meters broke his own European under-20 record. So far, Jakob was rewriting history every time he stepped on the track. 2019 was another year of record-breaking performances for the Norwegian sensation. On July 20th at the London Diamond League, he set another milestone, this time in the 5,000 meters. He took home silver, clocking 13:02.03 and breaking the national record and the European under-20 record in the process. On October 19th, he tackled a new challenge, the 10-kilometer road race in Norway. Jakob shattered Sondre Nordstad Moen's Norwegian record, winning the race in 27 minutes and 54 seconds. Not only was it the fastest time ever run by a Norwegian, but it was also the fastest 10K by a European in 2019, and another European under-20 best. By 2020, Jakob was setting records in almost every meeting. On August 14th, at the Hercules meeting in Monaco, he broke a major barrier in the 1500 meters, running 3 minutes 28.68 seconds. It was his first time under 3:30.
Hela vägen in, men Cheruiyot kommer att vinna det här och titta på klockan. Titta på tiden. 3:28:45.
He also broke Mo Farah's European record, which had stood for 7 years. He was now officially in a league of his own. At the 2021 Diamond League in Florence, Jakob took things up another notch, setting a new European record in the 5,000 meters with a blistering time of 12:48.45.
What a win! He's smashed his lifetime best. 12:48, the fastest time in the world this year.
In a race where multiple runners went under 12:55, he emerged with a new record to add to his growing list of achievements. But the real highlight came at the delayed 2020 Tokyo Olympics. On August 7th, Jakob stepped up to the biggest stage of his career, the 1500-meter final. He didn't just win gold, he set both an Olympic and European record with an astonishing time of 3 minutes 28.32 seconds, beating the Olympic record that had just been set in the semifinals. This performance also broke the previous Olympic record that had stood since the 2000 Sydney Games. At just 20 years old, he became the second youngest winner of the 1500 meters in Olympic history. 2022 kicked off in style. On February 17th, he set his first senior world record, clocking 3 minutes 30.60 seconds for the indoor 1500 meters in Liévin, France.
Keep your eye on the clock as they come round into the home straight. He's got to beat the time of 3:31.04, and he's going to do it! Jakob Ingebrigtsen has a senior world record!
Later that year at the Outdoor World Championships, Jakob found himself in another high-stakes showdown in the 1500 meters. He won silver, just missing out on gold after being outsprinted by Great Britain's Jake Whiteman.
Ingebrigtsen's trying, he's closing, but he's looked over his shoulder. Jake Whiteman with the performance of his lifetime.
In the 5,000 meters, he struck gold, winning in 13.09.24.
If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs, then yours is the world and everything in it.
Jakob became the first non-African male runner to win an Olympic or World Championships gold in the 5,000 meters in 30 years, since Dieter Baumann's legendary victory at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. And to top off his season, he returned to the Diamond League final in Zurich, this time in the 1500 meters, where he faced his rival Timothy Cheruiyot and came out on top, securing his first ever diamond trophy.
Ingebrigtsen storming to the line, watch the clock, 3:29.02.
In March 2023, at the European Indoor Championships in Istanbul, for the second time in his career, Jakob won both the 1500 meters and 3000 meters, setting a championship record in the 1500 and breaking the Norwegian record in the 3000 with a time of 7:40.32. In June, at the Diamond League meet in Paris, he ran the 2-mile race in an astounding 7 minutes 54.1 seconds, smashing Daniel Koeman's long-standing world best, which had stood since 1997, becoming the second man in history to break the 8-minute barrier for 2 miles, a feat that requires running each mile faster than 4 minutes.
Looks tired, but he's driving to the line. This is going to be sensational from Ingebrigtsen. He has completely blown this apart. 7:54.1.
Then, just a week later at the Bislett Games, he further improved his own European record in the 1500 meters, running a blistering 3 minutes 27.95 seconds and finally breaking the 3 minutes 28 seconds barrier. And as if that wasn't enough, on July 16th at the Silesia Diamond League, he shaved even more time off, clocking 3:27.14, making him the 4th fastest man ever over the distance. At the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest, he once again found himself in a dramatic 1,500-meter final. In a nail-biting finish, he came up just short of gold, losing to Scotland's Josh Kerr in the final sprint.
And it's going to happen again. Josh Kerr with a performance of his lifetime. Ingebrigtsen loses again. Favourites don't always win.
But true to form, he bounced back in the 5,000 meters, securing his second straight world title in the event. Less than 2 weeks later, in Brussels, he set a world record in the 2,000 meters, clocking 4 minutes 43.13 seconds and breaking Hicham El Guerrouj's record that had stood since 1999.
4:44.79 is the target. He's done it! It's a world record!
However, the long and grueling 2023 season took its toll. In the fall, Jakob suffered an injury to his sacrum, forcing him to miss the European Cross-Country Championships for the first time in 7 years. He entered 2024 with a bit of a setback, as an Achilles injury forced him to skip his indoor season. But rather than letting it hold him back, he focused on preparation and training, setting his sights on both the 2024 European Championships in Rome and the Paris Olympics later in the year. The first race of the year came on May 25th at the Prefontaine Classics Bowerman Mile. The race was hyped as the mile race of the century. Jakob faced off against rivals Josh Kerr and Yared Nuguse in a stacked field. With the memory of their last battle at the 2023 World Championships still fresh, the anticipation was off the charts. Kerr emerged victorious with a new British record, while Jakob finished a close second in 3 minutes 45.60 seconds. Next, he returned to the Diamond League in Oslo, where he triumphed in the 1,500 meters with a dramatic dive across the line to edge out Timothy Cheruiyot by just 0.03 of a second.
Towards the line. Cheruiyot trying to come back at him. Is he going to get there? Oh, I think he does. I think he does. It's going to come down to a photo. By 0.03 of a second. The dive was worth it.
His winning time was the world's best time so far in 2024. At the European Athletics Championships, Jakob didn't just compete, he dominated. He won both the 1,500 meters and the 5,000 meters, confirming his position as one of the best middle distance and long distance runners in the world. Then, on July 12th, he delivered a historic performance at Monaco's Hercules meeting, where he ran an incredible 3 minutes 26.73 seconds in the 1,500 meters, breaking his own European record. With that time, he became just the 4th man in history to break the 3:27 barrier, joining the ranks of legends like Asbel Kiprop, Bernard Lagat, and Hicham El Guerrouj. On August 6th, the much-anticipated Olympic men's 1,500-meter final didn't go quite as Jakob had planned. Despite leading for much of the race, Jakob was overtaken by Kerr in the final stretch. As he moved wide, Hocker seized the opportunity, using his final kick to not only pass Jakob, but also overtake Kerr for the gold. But just 4 days later, on August 10th, he came roaring back in the 5,000 meters, taking home the gold in 13 minutes 13.66. With this victory, he became just the 3rd man in history to win Olympic gold in both the 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters. The following month, he delivered an incredible performance at the Diamond League meeting in Silesia, Poland, setting a new 3,000 meters world record.
7:20.67 is going to be smashed here by the Norwegian. It's a world record yet again for Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
He crossed the line in 7:17.55, breaking the 28-year-old mark set by Daniel Komen back in 1996. That record had stood as the longest in men's athletics, with no one coming within 2 seconds of it, until Jakob, who became the first man ever to break the 7:20 barrier. With a world athletics score of 1,320 points, his record ranks as the 2nd highest ever for men's outdoor distance running. On September 15th, he made his debut at the Copenhagen Half Marathon. He was already on fire, splitting 27 minutes and 27 seconds at 10 kilometers, setting a new Norwegian national record in the process. He finished the half marathon in 1 hour, 3 minutes and 13 seconds, 34th overall, and continued to impress in the closing months of the season. The following month, at the 2025 European Athletics Indoor Championships in Apeldoorn, he won both the 1,500 meters and 3,000 meters, completing the distance double for the 3rd time, having previously achieved the feat in 2021 and 2023. With these victories, he secured his 7th indoor European title, tying him for the 3rd most by any male athlete in the history of the competition. In recent months, Jakob and his siblings have publicly claimed that their childhoods were marked by fear, emotional manipulation, and at times, physical violence. The legacy of the Ingebrigtsen running dynasty has been shaken by serious allegations against Jakob's father. Currently on trial in Norway, he is accused of physically and mentally abusing his children. Jakob described numerous incidents from as early as age 7, including being punched, kicked, and threatened. His sister, Ingrid, also testified to distressing experiences, including being forced to train despite her asthma. Unfortunately, environments like this, where performance is prioritized over emotional well-being, are all too common in elite sport. Experts stress the importance of giving young athletes autonomy, voice, and safe exit options, something Jakob and his siblings say was missing in their experience. Jakob Ingebrigtsen has already achieved what most athletes spend a lifetime chasing: Olympic gold, world records, Diamond League titles, and dominance across nearly every distance from 1,500 to 5,000 meters. He's done it all before the age of 25. With every season he evolves, sharpening his tactics, stretching the limits of endurance, and redefining what's possible on the track. He's no longer the teenage prodigy chasing history. Now, he is history in the making. Is Jakob the greatest middle-distance runner of his generation? Or are we still witnessing the rise of something even bigger? And how do the allegations against his father affect the way we look at his journey? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep chasing greatness.